Hi there, welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Tiny-Winnet, and today I pulled out the big blazer. This is quite a fashion piece for me. I love a good blazer moment. It just looks weird because I'm sitting down, so it's just like flopped. But enough about the fashion. Today we are going to be talking about relationships. Now, to be fair, I was avoiding this topic because I think I've been telling myself a lot that I don't have the qualifications to be talking about this because I have been single more than I have been in a relationship. So I figured I can talk about singleness because, I'd like to think I'm an expert at this point. But I decided there are a couple of things that I'd like to address. That pertain to relationships, how we view relationships, especially as Christian women. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm going to include my faith in almost every podcast episode because I can. It's my podcast and I'm a Christian woman. So if you don't like it, I don't know what you're going to do, girl. I don't know what you're going to do. But there was a debate that was hosted or facilitated by Dr. Darth. I'll find a way to link it or show it somewhere. You know, my editing skills, you already know, my editing skills are tricky. But it was a debate between Christian women and non-Christian women. And they were talking about, how Christianity has shaped their femininity. Now, when they got to that particular question, like when the debate was happening, I was like, interesting. But when that question was posed of how has Christianity shaped your femininity, the minute that question was asked, I had points. I had points, talking points. I had my scripture to back it up. Now tell me why I was like, the Christian girlies are about to eat these girls up for nothing. Like, I need you to bear with me. I was in debate team when I was in high school. We weren't like the most glamorous team. We could have done better. But, that competitiveness in debate. I was a third speaker. I really enjoyed like rebuttals and always having like facts and all those things. So your girl was prepared. Tell me why the Christian girls literally started talking about wifehood. Now, I want you to get me correctly. There's nothing wrong about wifehood. I think it's a beautiful thing and it's part of your femininity, right? But when you're only talking about wifehood, they only talked about wifehood. How, when I became a wife, God really did his thing with me. And I'm like, okay, point number one. All right, we're getting there. And then that was it. I was there like, excuse me. And that was it. That's all they could talk about. Now, they're having a debate with non-Christian women. Not particularly, they're not Christian women who were Christians before and who have left the Christian world. I'm gonna find a better word, but essentially, I really felt like the Christian girlies could have really talked about a lot because femininity is not just about being a wife. I was so upset. Oh my God. I was like, what? Like, so are you saying that God didn't change your life before you got married? Okay, that's fine. So you mean to tell me that you didn't know God before you got married? Or are you trying to say, Kuti, did I just include my mother tongue there? Are you trying to say that you did not know God or God did not have your back when you were courting, when you were dating this man? Because you were not a wife then. Okay, fine. We'll say you were preparing for marriage. What then happens to the person who's now a widow? What then happens to the person who's now divorced? Like, I think it rubbed me off the wrong way. And what ended up happening was I talked to my brother. I said like, yo, I was watching this podcast. This is what happened. It was like patriarchy. Like, patriarchy in religion is a real thing. I was there like, I'm flabbergasted because if when you're talking about marriage and it seems like to be the only achievement, bear with me. I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm bashing the married hands. I'm sorry, you're gonna feel some sort of way, but to me, marriage is not the ultimate achievement. It's not something that you'll be like, oh, I got it. It is for some people, and for those people, kudos to you. It's just not me. And I felt like for a person like myself, who marriage is a thing where I'm 24 and I'm not even in a relationship. So, a lot of people looking at me, and I think I'm getting in that state where I'm like, maybe I might not actually. I feel a little left out of the conversation. What about Apostle Paul when he said marriage is not for everybody? Like, what about us? What if he was talking to me? And you just left me out of the conversation. So today I figured, instead of badging my mom, literally just telling her all my points, I'm gonna share them with you because I really feel like it's a very important topic. I understand that for a lot of people you're not a Christian person, or maybe you have had such a traumatic experience in the church. It is real. It is real to be part of a church that does not have kind people, does not have people with the fruits of the Holy Spirit, right? So kindness, gentleness, just love and patience and all the things, all the other fruits of the Spirit that I don't remember. To not have those things in a church, it is very possible. Do not think that when you walk into a church building and you see all these people who are wearing their church uniforms, singing at the top of their voices, don't think that they're good. No, you actually have to be very discerning, because the only way you can tell if a person is a Christian is by their behavior. Please. This whole let's mark the register, let's come to church every Sunday. Some people go to church every Sunday and they go for the after activities, and they're still horrendous people. They are horrendous beings. But I think that's a topic for another day, right? Because today we want to talk about, I just exposed that I have shorts. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about the fact that Christianity shapes your femininity in various ways. And I'm talking mostly to my single people. Like I said, I try not to talk about relationships because I'm not an expert in that. I just back away. But femininity, I think there's also what culture says about femininity and masculinity. You have this rise of femininity content, like how to be more feminine, how to bag the high value man, how to be a high value man, how to be a high value woman, how to be this, how to make him want you, how to get married, how to bat your eyelids, we heard you, okay? This is the thing, all right? The femininity content that you're watching on YouTube, I don't know what it's based on. A lot of it is based on trying to attract the opposite gender, trying to seduce a person, using those laws of seduction. Girl. But when you start to look at femininity biblically, you're going to be very surprised. There are a lot of people as well who come on this platform and say, oh, this is what the Bible says about femininity, and then they talk about softness, and then they talk about being gentle and all this. Just because it says you have to be gentle, it does not necessarily mean that you now have to change the way you speak. There are a lot of people who think that being gentle is synonymous to speak softly. No, it means when push comes to shove, you can still show grace in your life to people, to individuals in your life, even the people who hurt you, even the people who disrespect you, you still show grace, right? So when I was now asking myself this question, how has Christianity shaped my femininity? I started thinking of when I was a little girl and the Bible stories I would read, the women in the Bible, and how I wanted to emulate them, but also transitioning from being a child into a teenager, and especially that teenage moment where you're like kind of rebellious, kind of don't talk to me mom, I'm cool, and finding yourself transitioning and all that, and still staying within God and saying, I'm not going to be rebellious because I know that I'm supposed to honor my mom and my father. My recording cut, but we're going to continue, right? So there was a particular one who used I'm now saying Psalms, Proverbs 31. And I want to tell you, Proverbs 31 is probably one of my favorite chapters in the Bible. Especially when you get to, is it verse 10? Guys, if I don't have my Bible, child, you know what? Let me just go to the Bible real quick. If you see any like mess behind me, don't worry about it. Okay. Child, I don't want to lie to y'all. I'm getting hot in this jacket, but I look good. So, child, reading the Psalms, Book of Proverbs, 31. There we go. See, it starts at verse 10. That's where I wanted to start, actually. That's where, and it talks about all these things, right? And it talks, the heading is the virtuous wife. In other Bibles, you find it being the virtuous woman, where King Lemuel's mother is talking to her son, letting him know what's up. She's there like, boo, this is what you're trying to look for in a good woman. This is what constitutes of a good woman, right? So you have all these things. You have, she is trustworthy, right? When you read verse 11, the heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he'll have no lack of gain. She's trustworthy. She is hardworking. She's resourceful. She's a provider. She's an entrepreneur. She's generous. She's an investor. She has a good quality life. You know what I'm saying? She is gentle. She's kind. We're talking, she is intelligent. She looks good. Her and her household, they look good. God is a stronghold. She brings pride to not only her husband, but her entire family. You know what I'm saying? She pays people on time. People who work for her, they're taken care of. She's a businesswoman. Very resourceful. Now, when I was looking at Proverbs 31, I was like, I don't think there's a better way for me to say this. I just genuinely don't think you wake up in the morning and boom, when you get married, and the next day when you wake up on your honeymoon, you're Proverbs 31. There's no such thing, right? Proverbs 31, you begin to emulate this woman before marriage. Did I hurt some spirits? Ain't nobody wants to talk about the fact that there is no way that you're going to start being very financially savvy as a woman when you get into a marriage when you were not financially savvy at the back. Are you mad? There is no way in that particular chapter where it says, oh yeah, her husband told her invest and then she invested. No, she did it herself. She did it herself. You need to be financially literate, my sister. You know nothing about budgeting. How going 50, 30, 20? Yet you're coming here saying, oh, I want to be your wife. Yeah, I can't wait. Like, all those things are amazing. I'm not going to, again, being a wife is amazing to me. Marriage is sacred. But you are in your 20s, right? You have started going to work. You are now earning a pay. You're supposed to pay tithe. Your little ass knows you're supposed to pay tithe. You got some subscriptions you gotta pay. You got bills to pay. When I was talking about subscriptions, I was talking about church subscriptions. Child, I'm still to pay mine. But I'm unemployed. Please do not bother my spirit. All right? You've got bills to pay. And, our financial journeys are going to look very different depending on your background, where you currently are, how much you earn. So for some people, they're taking care of their siblings and they're paying for school fees. For some other people like myself, they are not paying school fees for their siblings. They're just chopping their money by themselves. Our journeys are going to look very different. But we are going to be literate in each season that we're in, that we find ourselves in. learning how to budget, learning how to invest our money so that it multiplies. Why? Because we're trying to take care of our kids. Generational wealth. She's hardworking. You don't get married today and you tell me that tomorrow you start waking up at 5 a.m. Are you mad? If you were waking up at 10 every day, going for groove every day, all of a sudden you tell me you have a ring on your finger and all of a sudden you Proverbs 31. There's no such thing. You become Proverbs 31 before the ring. Before he finds you. He who finds a good wife finds a what? A good thing. What is a good wife? That is what is being described. So he must find you when you're already all these things. You should be working on yourself. And that is when we're saying, how has God, how is Christianity, how is your religion shaping all these things in you? You know, that's all they had to say. Like, look, my finances, God is in my finances. God is in my personality, in my character. You cannot be kind without God. You cannot be kind. You are nice. I was recently watching a sermon by Mike Todd, and I know there's a lot of controversy that surrounds the man, but let me tell you something. The man cooked on the sermon, where he was talking about the difference between being kind and being nice. Being kind is spiritually empowered. You cannot do kindness without God. And if you think you're doing kindness without God, sweetheart, I want to tell you, you are nice. You're a nice person. You're not a kind person. Because you need God. Trust me. To be patient, you need God. To sit here and have people talk to your face crazy. Y'all remember in the Renaissance film, Beyonce, people be talking to her crazy. Like, oh, we looked for the things that you needed. We couldn't find them. This is the biggest provider. She's looking at them like, I know your ass is lying. You need God for that type of thing. I'm sorry. And you're a constant work in progress, because when you didn't get married, now you're trying to figure out, okay, I know about my money. I know about finances. I know about saving and investing. How do I bring that into my marriage? Because it's not just my money anymore. It's not just my money anymore. It's my money. It's my husband's money. It's us putting our money together. It's me having a secret stash that he knows nothing about in case it rains. Iwewe na nasa usathu wakusiya 50, 30, 20. Bangwe bakusiya shima SIPs. People have emergency funds. Sis, people are doing real estate. My good sister in the word, she was into real estate. Y'all want this? Y'all want the verse? Let me wait. 16, she considers a field and buys it. From her profits, she plants a vineyard. My argument is this. Your femininity and how it is shaped by God and how it is shaped by Christianity does not begin when you get married. It begins when you accept Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior. As a woman, no matter what stage you're at. As a girl, as a teen, as a young woman. Because in that young woman, that's where we have, the various things that are going to happen. You've got the graduation, you've got school, you've got work, you're starting your career, you have got the courtship. Do you realize, because we start with courtship, you don't just wake up married, ma'am. Unless y'all are doing some freaky arrangement weddings. Child. Courtship, dating. Do you know, you need God, especially in 2025. Dating is a jungle, innit? You need Jesus, child. Y'all need the Lord. People are doing the most out here. People are on Twitter. People are swiping right and left. You want a good man, Savannah? You better have Jesus. You better be connected to the higher source. You need to be connected. For me, starts before the person in your single era. So, like I said, in any for my single hands, I'm with you. I'm gonna stand on business with you, because a lot of this content that is created for femininity is for people who, are seeking, who have, that in mind. What about the girlies who are right now? I'm not in that season. Right now, I'm in a I need to work on my career season alone. Or you have just gotten out of the worst relationship of your life. It was a nightmare because the man that moved mad. You're like, look, I need time out. I actually need a break. What about those people? Right? So I think when we talk about these things, let's not get excited to just talk about our latest season. So for some people, their latest season is marriage. And you know how it be. People who get engaged, it's like all of a sudden they left-handed. All of a sudden it's like, oh, me and my fiance. People who recently married, me and my husband. I get it. I get the excitement. And I'm happy for you. Sis, if you're watching this, I want you to know I'm happy for you. But I'm talking to the single person right now. And I'm trying to tell you, God is shaping your singlehood. And He is shaping your life as a woman in the most beautiful way. So even if you don't believe in my God, what you believe in, I'd like to think that it shapes you as a person, because it's your higher source. It's the greater I am. So that's the main thing I wanted to address today, because I was like, child, I have to get into it. Look at all the girls in the y'all look at Esther. You think Esther would have done the thing she did if she had just alerted at the spot? Of course, we get her story when she's married, which sucks, right? Because I'm really curious to know the kind of person she was before being married to this king, when she had to then ask the king to, help her people. You just don't all of a sudden practice that kind of thing. Oh, okay, let's look at Ruth. People are talking about God is shaping me as a wife. What happens when you become a widow? If anything, Ruth, I don't even think she believed in your God like that. She had to tell her mother-in-law, look, I'm going to believe in what you believe in. I'm going to hold on to you, girl, because, child, I don't want to do this alone. That's for sure. Anyways, enough about me. But yeah, there's just been a rise in this femininity content. You're being told smile more, speak softly, speak with a deep voice, have doe eyes, have siren eyes, have no eyes at all. Don't talk, be yourself. Be yourself with modifications. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Women cannot win. We cannot win. If you don't do your nails, do your hair, you are not the girl the boys are after. If you don't fit into a certain box, you are not what is deemed attractive. The nice thing about God is He likes you just the way you are. Sweatpants and all. I know you're watching this with sweatpants on. If you're anything like me, you're not even watching this. This is playing in the background. You busy cleaning your house. You busy imagining your goals and your dream life. Probably ain't got no man in it. Or it does. People make us feel bad. Oh my God, there's a plane overhead. You see, I told y'all, this is going to be happening a lot. We're going to have planes coming out. I live so close to the airport. Damn. It's an advantage though. I'm going to be honest. Because it means I don't have to exit my house really quick when I have to go to a trip. Because it's less than a 15-minute drive to the airport. That was me bragging a little bit. But yeah, I keep looking at my notes. You already know what the drill is. I didn't want it on my lap today. I just wanted to speak from my head. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about about this, about us having this conversation. And I was like, I'm really excited because I have been reading notes for the longest time. It feels so unnatural, but I love talking. I love yapping, even if it doesn't make sense. But I digress. I'm sorry, girl. Sorry. So yeah, there's a lot of there's this rising, this red pill content. Andrew Tate, all these people who are telling young men, do this, do that, be tough, be rich, be tall, go to the gym. Yeah, when you listen to some of it, you get it. But damn, it puts people in a box for me. There's gonna be that little skinny guy with big specs. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? It's gonna be the big boy. What is he gonna do? Who's gonna love him? Culture and how it's affecting our, perception. Is that the right word? I don't know. Anyways, that's what I want to talk about today. It all begins in singleness. Your femininity, your journey as a young woman in Christ, all of those things, it all begins in singleness. You trust me. Look, I know nothing about marriage, but I just don't think you can do that without God. But it's such a sacred covenant, a massive one. One of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life is the person you get married to. And a lot of people are making it seem as if it's one of those decisions that you can just and let's do it. There's no rush. I know when you get to a certain age, depending on your culture, I'm in a society where 24 people are looking at me like, we had a wedding at our church recently. I hadn't been going to church, and I went for the wedding. I was receiving a lot of those comments from the older people, like, you see this wedding, we want this for you. And I was like, yeah, I want it too, not now, but I want it. So that happens. So I know that you have the desire to get married, or you don't. That's also fine. Here, girl, we good. We Gucci. For me, currently, I do not have the desire. Okay, wait. I do. Do I? I do. But it's one of those things where I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, if it happens, Gucci. If it doesn't happen, Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have been single for longer than I've been in relationships. I'm not the type to jump into the next. I prefer being single. I get a lot done, as you can tell. I wouldn't be doing this in a relationship. I'm sorry. I would like to disappoint all the girlies and say, once I get in a relationship, I'm a lover girl. I'll be like taking care of my man. Lord. Hence why I thrive in a singlehood, because I need to get things done. Right? And I feel like there are, I've had conversations with friends and people who are not my friends, but we're close, talking about, marriage, because we're at the age, right? I'm at that age where I've got peers who are getting married, who already got married, who are pregnant. I've got peers who are dating seriously. I've got peers who are moving up in the corporate world. I've got peers who are working at Chicken Inn. I've got a lot of things going on. And then there's me. You know what I'm saying? So the conversation has been had. I feel like there are certain questions that you should ask yourself. Like, really, I feel like you need to be self-aware. My sister, I feel like you really need to sit yourself down and really ask yourself those deep questions. And I asked my friends these questions, like, before you get into it, I want you to really ask, especially just for you to figure out this person is the one. You see how I digress the conversation there, but it's okay. We're gonna bring it back. I was like, you have to ask yourself questions about your partner and be very real about it. My brother, not him just banging doors like a gorilla. I'm sorry. Ask yourself these questions and be honest. You're in a relationship. You're serious with your person. Oh, sure. Yeah. Ask yourself the serious questions. Ask yourself questions like, if I happen to get married to this person, right? And if I get sick, seriously ill, cancer, something morbid, will this person still be there? Or will he chuck me to my parents? I mean, there's never really a certain way to know until you get into the situation. But I feel like sometimes, I'm talking to my sisters who are dating trifling ass men. Sometimes you just know this nigga won't be able to do shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, mommy, for using foul language. But I'm just saying, there are questions like, if he gets sick, am I going to still be there? If he is broke, am I still going to be there? Is it something that I'm willing to go through? And like I said, it's not something that you know for sure. Like, you can say yes right now. That's why I'm saying, ask yourself honestly. You have the option of answering honestly to yourself, not to anybody, not on this platform. I ain't got time to read your comments like that. But ask yourself, like, would I really be able to live in a situation where we don't have money? Would I be comfortable? What is it that I want? What are my desires? Do I want to work? Do I not want to work? Do I want to be an entrepreneur? The questions that you ask yourself that have a direct impact to the other person in that relationship. Because what's going to happen when you are in love with your career and your partner says, I don't want you to go to work? And in a society that will say, your husband, if he's saying that all is good, why would you want to go to work? Why would you want to keep going to work? Why would you want to stay with the 9 to 5? If that is what you want and your partner loves you and you explain, your answer will be, will my person understand? Will my person, support me? There are some situations with my sisters who are dating where your boyfriend doesn't support you. There's a funeral at your house. Somebody who's really close to you dies and he doesn't show up. Sis. Come on, sis. Girl, you want me to tell you the obvious? If he is failing to show up for you like that, how else is he going to fail to show up? Ask yourself. We always hold our friends to such a high, impossible standard, especially as women. We are so unforgiving in our friendships. Gosh, I will talk about myself. I'm so unforgiving. I will get angry about the smallest thing. Let the man do it. Like, and that's not right, sis. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not slick. Don't do that. It's not right. That grace you showed to that trifling man, show it to your friends. Show it to the people who show up for you consistently, who have shown you that we love you without having for you to beg and cry and plead and do all these things and perform. No, just be yourself and we're there for you because we love you. Somehow this conversation digressed, but yeah, I think that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm tired. But I hope this challenges you, grows you, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.